Hey everybody, I'm Sean.
And I'm Steph.
And we right here are Rampant Design. Welcome to episode number, what, 11?
11.
11 of Running Rampant. Little show that takes you behind the scenes of Rampant Design, talks a little tiny bit about what it's like to run a small business, and then we open ourselves up to questions from you, our fine furry friends on the internet. What is going on today?
Well, on today's episode, we're talking about working with family, anxiety, and you can't do this.
Nope. All right, so first things first, a little order of business. What's going on? Got a cool phone call? Let's talk about that.
Got an amazing phone call this week from our friend Rose. Thank you so much for calling. It was so great to talk to you on the phone, and it's great to hear, people just talk about positivity, and it's great. It's fantastic. We are working on your project.
Unique New York. Unique New York. Yes.
We are working on it, and we're really excited to get it finished. Sean's the perfectionist, so it's going to be in production probably forever. But until he finishes
Hold on,
it
is
to be...
this knife... is this thing yours? Thank you.
No, he is a perfectionist, though, and he does want to get it to be perfect for you. So, yeah, we're going to be working on that one. So we'll get that done. And
well, hold on. I'd like to talk about Rose, too. Whoa! Pump the brakes, kid. Yes, thank you, Rose. It was awesome to get your phone call. It was awesome to get your video. Really, really great to hear from people. Always like it. We still to this day talk about it every day. Like, I can't believe people watch this thing. This is the greatest time to be alive in terms of technology. So thank you so much for your positivity and for reaching out and saying that you watch it. Saying I'm a perfectionist is an understatement. This is part of my creative process. I shoot it, I throw it away, I get mad at myself, I walk away, I throw my computer in the trash, then I go trash diving because that's my computer and she won't buy me a new one. Then I set it up, clean it off, and start all over again. I hate myself, I love the work, then I hate the work. I go to sleep thinking, hey, this might work, and I look at it the next day going, what was I thinking? I throw it away again, then I throw the computer back in the trash. This is my creative process. So, I'm in the middle of the crazy, and when it's done, and when I feel it's right, and I'm ready to release it to the world, it will be done, and you will be getting a copy. I promise you. This is just how it works. We've had some projects, on the books for
a long time.
Flares, our first anamorphic project, Flares, was a year. A year of shooting, storing, looking, throwing away. Natural Flares was the same. We threw it away 4 times?
Yep.
Fire. Home.
Fire.
We had like 16 fire shoots for our fire library. So I stress over this. I suffer. This is just part of my creative process, and it's eating me away inside little bit by little bit. But it's all good. So anyway,
that was wonderful. Also, thank you guys for watching. We started Rampant Live last week. Excited.
Had a great episode with Cass.
Yeah, and Colin.
So much fun. Yep, so much fun. And Colin was awesome.
So it's been a great start. We're really excited. Unfortunately, this week we are going to take a pause. So we have some family business that we have to take care of. So we're going to take a pause and take care of that. And then we'll be back the following week. But
go to rampantlive.com. Yes. You can see a massive schedule. There's a huge calendar.
And you can replay
July.
Just in case you missed it.
Yeah, totally.
You can replay it.
Go back and check out Colin's interview. Check out Kess's interview. Both some of my favorite people on the planet. Really great people. So if you don't know either Kess or Colin, go and check it out. And then you can also see what it's like. And you can participate. This is the great part. If you come in when we're live, which is typically 9 p.m. Eastern, you can ask questions. And if the person we're talking with really is excited, we can have you jump in on a webcam as well. But typically it's been with chat, and you can ask questions, you can make comments. I think Adam Bedford made fun of the fact that I look like I'm in an Iron Man suit while Stephanie's on this nice, beautiful set. But this is what happens when you're the CFO and then you're the person who just sits here and works here. So it's always good to be the money person.
It just worked out that way.
So anyway, what's this episode about?
So this episode is about, our first topic is working with family. Mm-hmm. And as you can see, we're family. So I'll let you take this one first.
Before marriage, too. No. Yeah, here's the thing with working with family. We get this all the time. Dude, I could never work with my wife. I hear this all the time. It's like, okay. Thanks for sharing, maybe? I don't know what to tell you, but... it is a unique situation, and up until a hot minute ago, we worked in the exact same space. We were within 5 feet of each other, and I liked that because we could turn around and look at something, we could have an immediate meeting, and then go back to work. Because of the nature of how we're expanding the company, and we're doing more things, we're doing the live show, which requires the machines to be away from one another, otherwise you're going to hear her voice in my microphone and vice versa, so it's be like, hello, hey, I'm Steph, that would get out of control real fast. So we moved Steph into our second office, which was really just designed to do this show, this is the office. The other right there, literally right there is her office. And then over here in the same room is where we make our drive. So if you order a Rampant Drive there, you watch the show here, and Stephanie now works there. So there you go. So it's like, and so I'm all alone now, but it doesn't, I don't think we've ever had an issue.
No.
I mean, we're both headstrong people, so if we both believe something and it's not the same thing, then you know, she punches me in the face and
we take care
and
of
then
it.
I move on. You know, what are you going to do? No, you just talk about it. We're both passionate. We both try to take care of one another as members of Rampant, right? But the relationship really doesn't come into play. We are married. She's my best friend, and I love her to death. But when it's work time, she's the CFO, and you know, every other word out of her mouth is no.
That's not always true. He doesn't say no. I don't actually say no a lot.
Look, there's really nothing hard with working with family as long as you guys have the same goals in mind. And so if you're working with family, make sure you tell them you love them, you know, because you're going to get heated about the business. You're going to have different opinions. But at the end of every day, make sure you tell them you love them and that, you know, this is just the business. Make sure you love them just a little bit more than you love the business, and you'll be all right. If the business starts taking precedence over your relationship, well, you know, you're going to roll the dice. But it's not that hard, but I can't tell you how many times now, dude, I couldn't work with my wife if I wanted to. All the time. I mean, it's just like, and I'm just walking, I wasn't even talking to you, I was going to the bathroom, you know. Hey, you're the guy who works with his wife. Kind of busy here, sir, you know. Happens all the time. So, yeah. Everyone is always telling us how much they can't work with their wives or their husbands. And that's okay. It's not for everybody, I guess.
No, that's true.
But we
get along pretty well. We're yin and yang, pretty much.
For sure.
I mean, it's 50-50. We bounce...
51, 49.
Well, okay. But we do bounce ideas off each other and keep each other on track. And you know, when one of the other's down, the other has to pick them up. So it's sort of... it's an interesting dynamic for running a business with family members, just Sean and I. But there's other companies that also run with family members, which are amazing. So I think it's when you have your family, you've been around them for a long time, so you can really trust them and trust their opinion, and they can tell you how it is. So there's not a friendship line there that they're breaking. It's they tell you, they're honest, and you know. Sometimes you need to hear the honesty. So it's fun. We like it. It's good.
For me, it'd be easier to work with a family member than it would be like a close friend. I think the odds are you're going to lose that friend. That's just how it is. So I'd probably rather work with a complete stranger than a friend. Or definitely rather work with a family member altogether. So if you're thinking about working with family, just have lots of open discussions. Don't hide things. Don't be passive aggressive. The business is going to suffer. The business is a relationship as well. So if it's based on you and one other person, your whole goal is to nurture this thing and get this thing going so it can sustain itself. And that's going to take a really long time, which is going to add a lot of stress. I can't tell you how many thousands of conversations I've had with Steph with saying something like, do you think we're going to make money this month?
Yeah. You know. So especially if you have that optimist partner, they can really keep you up. If you're not such an optimist, that's okay.
I'm a beat down shelter dog. That's the best way to describe me. So, and she's rainbow bright.
No, you don't scooch over me. Yeah.
She's rainbow bright. I'm a beat down shelter dog. So that's basically how it works.
Yeah, it works.
Hey, whatever works for you, right? All right. So what's the next topic?
What was the next topic? I forget already. Oh, anxiety. Anxiety.
Okay. Who was it? Kristen Bell? Who was it that just...
Kristen Bell, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so here's the deal. Not every time when an actor or actress comes out with something are they trying to get some kind of notoriety. Kristen Bell doesn't need anybody's help. She's doing just fine.
She's part of Frozen.
She's part of so many...
Nobody's going to forget her
she's
ever.
part of so many different things. She doesn't need cheap publicity, right? So when she comes out saying she suffers from depression and anxiety, and there shouldn't be a stigma for that, and she even equated it to diabetes, saying that you're not going to make fun of someone who has to take insulin, so why would you make fun of someone who has to take medication in order to counterbalance their depression or anxiety? Some people are naturally born with the chemical imbalance. Some people have tough lives. It doesn't matter. Everyone is on their own path. You can't make a judgment because you're not on their path. That's the whole point of life. Sometimes our paths are near each other, sometimes our paths cross, but you're never, ever, ever going to be on the same path. It's 100,000 billion% impossible. So let's start judging a lot less and start caring a lot more. This entire universe is with data and video passing throughout the internet all day long, every day. That's a wonderful time to live. You can make creative stuff. You can talk to people. But with the good comes the bad. There's a lot of hate. There's a lot of people dishing out nonsense, and that hurts. And this is a really narcissistic society. Instagram is a lie. Facebook is a lie. You know, not everyone's having these most amazing times. We try to only share the amazing times, but it's also been statistically proven and psychologically proven that excessive Facebooking and Instagramming leads to depression. So, well, that's a problem. So I suffer from crazy anxiety. I am not afraid to talk about this. I don't care what you think about me, you know, because, you know, the majority of you who sent me some seriously hateful messages about our misogyny episode would never dare speak to me that way in person, because you'd end up as a part of the wall fixture. So it's just how it is. You come up to me and say those terrible things about me and my wife in person, and I seriously will make a door with your shape and hole just through the wall, just how it's going to be. So you wouldn't do that. It doesn't matter. But I do suffer from anxiety and depression, partly because of my job. Post-production is hard. I'm not even talking about Rampant. When I was working in Hollywood, it never stops. It's always crazy and intense, and there's a lot of pressure, and there's no love. Back when I was working in Hollywood, at most facilities, if you complained even once, you were reminded very quickly that there's 100 kids outside waiting to take your chair. So feel free to step down whenever you want. Boy, is that a pep talk. Golly gee, boss man, thanks. I feel great. No, that's Hollywood. And it's not just there. I worked for the military, and it was an honor to work there for them, but the military buildings are all brown. There's no color. So for me as an artist, it was just like I was working in prison. And that creatively really, really hurt. But the working for the soldiers was amazing. They were fantastic human beings. But the buildings themselves that I had to work in were very depressing. And I feed off of that. I feed off my environment. So I suffer from crazy anxiety. I suffer sometimes if times get tough, I get depressed. It's just life, you know? I mean, I'm not afraid of it. I don't take medication. I personally don't believe it works for me. I've had a lot of friends who've their lives have been altered for the wrong as a result of being poorly diagnosed or medicated by a doctor. If you have to take medication, I don't blame you one bit. I don't want to suffer this way. I don't want to feel this way. So I completely understand. You have my utmost and most sincerest hugs and deep thoughts to have to go through this, because it sucks. There are days you're like, man, you know, if I wasn't even on this planet, would anybody care? You know, it happens. Not everybody feels this way, but I suffer from crazy anxiety, especially, you know, now with Rampant. Some months are great. Some months don't have any income. Some months you got some dude who was supposed to be your friend lying about you and going to your circle of friends and people that you know, saying terrible things about you and your wife. Sometimes they steal from you. Makes you just want to just jump off something tall, you know? Seriously, it just happens. So, don't ever judge anybody about anxiety or depression. It's not something you can control. There's, you know, every once in a while you'll get a post of, well, you know, I was sad and then I decided not to be sad and I just decided to be awesome instead. That's great. There might be 1% of you out there who can legitimately change your brain chemistry on the fly. Congratulations. That is not everybody. That is not even close to half of everybody. So don't tell people that. Don't tell people to just stop being depressed. That's ridiculous. It's a lifelong struggle. And so if you're suffering from that, there's always people you can talk to. Send us a message. We'll happily talk to you. I'll tell you exactly what I feel and how I deal with things. It really helps to have a Steph. I highly recommend getting a Steph. If you can find yourself a Steph, I get one. You can't have my Steph. She's not really mine. I don't own her, but you can't have this Steph, I should say, because I've already put a ring on it. So anyway, yeah, it sucks. What do you have to say about it?
I just say, you know, on this topic, I don't have the same experiences as Sean does. I am generally a pretty positive person, and I don't have a lot of stress from work. It just doesn't affect me like it does him. But I see the way it affects him, and it's very difficult for me to not be able to fix it. So if you see somebody if you are part of a relationship or a friend, and you have a friend who is suffering like with anxiety, don't give up on them, and it's not about you, it's about them. So if they're not accepting what you're giving them, keep giving it to them, because it does matter. And it's very difficult when you see someone going through that and you want to help them, and it can be frustrating at the same time when they're not responding to you the way you think they should be responding. But it's important to be there for, you know, anyone who is going through, you know, depression or anxiety or anything like that. So just be there for them and help them through it, and just know that on the other side of it, there's an uphill, you know. and then downhill. So it's good. It's a good thing. So, just don't be nasty. Stop being negative. There's too much negative in the world.
For sure.
You don't need to be dishing that out. So
I mean, the misogyny episode, somebody said that somebody needs to give, can I say it? Can I say this word on the show? What he said?
Yeah, I don't think that's
okay. I don't know. The way we've rated the show, I'm not sure what
I'm
allowed to say or not.
We are a clean podcast,
right.
So we have to censor ourselves.
In a much more edited way, somebody said someone needs to give Sean his balls back, and it was a lot more graphic than that. Total in the midst of all the comments that he wrote on our misogyny episode, they're where they should be, and anybody who thinks that they're above another human being in any way is ridiculous.
Yeah, don't put anybody down.
But you're not better race. There's no better race. There's no better gender. Well, actually, I think women are better. But there's really, this is ridiculous that we're all having these topics. We will never become like the people you see in Star Trek, where we're all one unified, happy family. It's never going to happen. So stop with the negativity. It's ridiculous. Stop. And you know what? Everyone who's a tough guy on the keyboard, that's great. Let's set up a time and place where we can meet in person, and we'll see who's really tough. You know what I'm saying? We'll find out where the toughness starts and stops. So enough of the nonsense.
Yeah, just be nice.
She's the most amazing person on the planet. I'm not afraid of telling anybody how much I love and respect Stephanie as a person, let alone as someone I'm married to. So this whole gender nonsense has got to stop. You're not better than any women. And you know what? I know a bunch of women who are better than you. So just
be nice.
Get over yourself.
Be nice.
If you can't be nice, just don't say anything at all. This is why I think the thumbs down button on YouTube was the worst thing ever. Because some people think, well, no, I'm genuinely saying I don't like this, so I'm thumbs downing it. Well, it breeds a negative culture.
It does, and it brings in anxiety and depression and all that stuff. It matters. So your words matter. Keep them to yourself. They're not nice. Seriously.
Keep hitting me with hate and see how quickly I find a plane ticket and a baseball bat. Whoa. I don't know. Just kidding.
Well, this topic leads really well into our next topic.
This is a great
which
segue.
Is being told that you can't do this.
Yes, you can't do this.
You can't do this.
And before we say anything else, that's ridiculous. Of course you can, right? Right now, this day, this year, 2016, is the greatest time to be alive in terms of technology. Whatever you feel, whatever you believe, all you need is a cheap camera and access to the internet. Heck, you could do it at the library, for crying out loud, and you can have an audience. You can speak your words. This is the greatest time to be alive. Any kind of business you want to do, you don't need brick and mortar. You don't have to rent space. You don't have to go get, have the city come in and inspect everything. All you need is a laptop and an idea and the cloud, baby. And this is the greatest time to be alive. So when we started Rampant, man, it wasn't like this. It just wasn't like YouTube was still in its infancy. E-commerce was great if you wanted to buy an MP3 file or an ebook, but not serving huge zip files. People were looking at us like we're crazy. The first several hosts we worked with actually said, "Get out! You're destroying our servers." I'm like, got to figure this one out. But when we started, and we initially went into Rampant, people were looking at us funny. All of our friends, we'd go to these huge barbecues. We used to live in Nashville. We used to go to these huge barbecues all the time, and people would come up to us and start telling us why we can't do this, right? Just out of the blue. I didn't ask. I'm certainly not going around asking people to justify, my decision. Hey, you think it's a good idea that we did this? No. I'm all in, baby. All the chips pushed forward. So they would come up to us, and sometimes at parties we separate because that's how it happens, and they would attack us. They would attack us separately and say stuff like, "You can't do this. You need a job. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this to Stephanie?" That's my favorite one. Why am I doing this to Stephanie? How are you going to
support your family?
What about insurance? Why?
All these negatives, all these negative things coming at us.
The worst. And what it is, 100% of it, is none of it is about us. It's them telling us that they don't feel they can do it. And you know what? That's fine. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody. Okay? It's hard. If it was easy, we'd all have a business, right? We'd all be just, hey, sell this, buy this, whatever. But it's not like that, right? It's a lot of hard work. People come out and make stuff up about you all the time. Someone posted on YouTube the other day, I know someone who works at Rampant, and they say they're all jerks. Unless Stephanie's bad-mouthing me behind my back or the cats have a Twitter account, no, you don't know anybody at Rampant. Come on, man. It's ridiculous. People just try to just stir stuff up or kiss the butt of another brand, or I don't know this person's motive, but everybody will tell you it can't be done, right? And of course it can be done. It's not going to happen to you overnight. It could take 5 years. We're in our 6th year, and we're still on the grind. It probably will take 6 more years before we are where we think we should be, right? So when someone comes up to you and says, no, you can't, it's not really about you, and you have a choice. You can shrug them off and smile, or you can become their therapist and try to deal with whatever they're trying to deal with. You know?
And use it to motivate you. Literally, if somebody tells me I can't do something,
oh boy,
it becomes the fire that I need to just get my butt in gear and keep moving forward. Because if they're telling me I can't, I'm going to look at them one day and say, see, I can.
No, mind you, this party I'm referring to, this get-together I'm referring to was many, many years ago. Now, these very same people are telling us, boy, I wish I had found a way to be a part of this thing that you're on now. I'm like, yeah. There's this whole fable that my best friend Mike Brazell says about bread. I don't know what it is, but I don't remember what it is, but it's essentially the same thing where, you know, you're sitting there, you're making the bread, and you're asking people to help, and they're like, nah, and you're constantly cultivating and storing and cooking, and then all of a sudden when you start baking, people start to smell the bread, and they're like, hey, wait a second. And then when you've got the bread and you for sale, you're like, hey, can I have some of that bread? No, you can't, because you didn't help make any of it. You know what I'm saying? I did a horrible job retelling that fable, but the whole point is that nobody thinks you can do it until there's the perception that you've done something, and then they want to be a part of it.
And this goes all the way down to your family members.
Oh, they're the worst.
I mean, your family will be like, what are you doing? You know, didn't you go to school to do this? Didn't you plan on doing this? Well, how are you going to make money doing this?
Right.
Well, let me show you, mom, dad, sister, brother, aunt, uncle, extended family. Let me just show you exactly how I'm going to do this.
Can I see your phone? Here. I just want to show you what we did. I'm not going to show anything, but this is what happened. This person started barking about money at us. Remember, she was yelling at us. Remember at the party? Mm-hmm. And she was yelling at Stephanie. And while she was yelling at Stephanie, you know, I'm just sitting there on the phone. And right when there was a pause in the conversation, I said, during this conversation, this is how much we made. And it wasn't astronomical. I didn't go out and buy a Benz or anything, but it was enough to shut her up and go, oh. See, that's the great thing about being an entrepreneur. We can be sitting here on camera and generating an income. We can be at a party and generating an income. We can be at work and generating an income. It sucks that you have to defend yourself so bad.
It does.
Especially from family.
It's very hard. And when your family comes at you saying that, well, shouldn't you do this? Well, who are you? Why is right. Is that the end all be all? So, you know, it's interesting, but it lights a fire under you, and you use that. Don't use it to bring you down. Use it to fire you up, because there is nothing more motivating than someone saying to me, I can't do this. Because
oh, yeah.
I'll learn how to build a house. If somebody told me you can't build a house, I'm going to be learning how to build a house tomorrow.
Oh, she'll have a whole community build. That's just how she is. When we first started this, a big company in this industry, the head of it wrote us these really nasty emails taunting us, saying you'll never be anywhere. Well, guess what? We're here, and every dollar we make, you don't. So we're still here, and we're going to keep staying here because we love our community, and I believe they love us because they keep supporting us. So that's what this company doesn't do. They don't have any community. They don't care. They just want money. So don't let anyone take anything away from you. It's really tough if a boyfriend or girlfriend or your family, your mom or your dad or your sisters or your brothers, they come at you this way. And it really is the same thing. Like, it's a generational thing, right? So my family doesn't understand what we do. Your family doesn't understand what you do. They're now starting to get it and it's starting to click. But initially when you're like, we're starting our own business, that's cute. You know, go back to work. You know.
Yeah, they don't understand, but use that and use it to motivate you, and it really is seriously the greatest motivation that you can ever get from someone, I think, is them telling you can't do this.
For real.
It's just in everything, even if you don't run your own company, even doing a project. Well, you can't possibly do that. Oh, really?
But you can.
You can.
It's
you can do anything you want to do.
Absolutely.
That may mean that if someone says, "Hey, you can't do this project," and then that night you go home and you are online the entire night, you don't sleep, you do an all-night cram session of learning whatever kind of project they want you to do, you come in there the next day and you're like, oh, here you go, boss. Let me just show you exactly what I can't do.
Well,
so
it's happened with us.
It's important to keep
It's happened with us personally. Nobody believes that Stephanie is a web guru. She really is, and she's self-taught. She started by right-clicking on websites and reading their code. Guess what? You can do that. That's free information. And when people come up, oh, well, who does your website? Stephanie. And then it's not like, oh, that's great. It's, let me see if I can challenge you. Same with me. I recently worked on a film for a really great director who I admire, and there were so many people like, what exactly do you think you're doing on this? I was like, what? Now, Stephanie had never seen me do this kind of work before, and I'm grateful because she got to see what it was like, but I worked in Hollywood for 15 years. I did exactly what I did in Hollywood I did for these guys. But all these people around me were like, what do you think you're going to do with this? Like all of a sudden when I became a vendor, I don't know how to use After Effects? You know, it's like, what? So it's just weird that people want to put you down like
People want to tear you down. They want to put themselves up and they want to tear you down, and don't let them.
No.
Don't take any of that, you know, shrug it off and say, oh, tomorrow I'll be showing you exactly what you're telling me I can't do. So
right. Yeah, exactly. Use it to empower yourself. That's the best thing. You know, there's so much free knowledge out there. Don't let anyone ever tell you you can't do anything. You know, we're meeting with all these programmers and we're this close to saying, you know what, screw it. We're just going to go and teach ourselves coding. I'm not joking.
No, we're not joking.
Because everyone's trying to take advantage of us. They're like, well, you want to do this thing, which is a very small project, which could be done a different way for under $1,000. And they're like, 50 grand. Because that's the magic number with app development, right? The small apps, no matter what they do, I want to click this button to make a smiley face pop up on the screen. 50 grand! Well, you know what? I'm going to take that 50 grand and I'm going to empower the two of us to write our own code. Who's got the 50 grand now? You know, I mean, it's just ridiculous. So don't let anyone ever tell you you can't do anything, right? Yeah. So you can do anything. Get yourself a computer. Get yourself some knowledge. It's free. It's everywhere. You know, it's this you can't do it thing is ridiculous. What they're saying is I can't do it. Yeah. And that's they can't do it because they're saying they can't do it. That's the only reason why. You can do anything you want to do. This is seriously the best time to be alive.
It really is. It's a great time. It's it's pretty amazing. So get out there and do it. Just do it.
Yeah, for those of you editors out there, we'll keep this post specific. I can't use After Effects. No, you don't want to use After Effects. You don't want to learn it. It's actually not that hard. Once you get over the learning curve, it's so empowering and you become a rock star. Seriously. If your clients didn't know you could do this now, when you learn and you're like, oh, check this out. I just saved you a bunch of money. Look what I can do. Boom. Even if you learn 10 things in After Effects, it's ridiculous. Or you use Motion, or use HitFilm, or whatever. There's a million apps out there. Fusion. I mean, for crying out loud, you can do anything. Learn color correction. Learn color grading. Learn particle systems. Take a class in Houdini, become just this weird particle, learn real flow and become a fluid dynamics expert where your hair's all going crazy. You're like, check this out. I made real water. You can do this. There's all kinds of shit. FX PhD will teach you right now. There's all kinds of knowledge out there. So the next time someone says you can't do it, just say not yet. That's right. Say yes I can. That's right. But haters gonna hate and don't let them hit you. I get hit with so much hate every single day. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
You can do it.
You can absolutely do it.
That's great. That's the end of our episode. Woo!
Woo! We don't have any questions this episode.
No, we don't. But thank you to, let me make sure. Thank you to Richard and Matt for your comments on last week's episode. That was amazing.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yes, it's nice to hear everyone's experiences and find out how people are, being affected by the industry. And we love that. We love hearing from you. Thank you to Rose for calling us today. That was wonderful.
Made our
day. Don't forget to check out Rampant Live. Remember, not this week. We'll be off this week, but check us out. You can go to rampantlive.com and check out all of the old past episodes that we have with Colin and Kess.
And you can sign up.
There. There's a little button there to subscribe. We're on iTunes now for Rampant Live. And
no, I mean sign up to be on the show.
Oh, yes. You can actually sign up to be on the show.
We want you on the show. We're starting with all of our friends because we know a bunch of people, right? But we want to hear from you. This is your way to be on the show. I want to hear your story. She wants to hear your story. We're all on the same journey together, so let's all talk, Yeah. So sign up. We'll schedule you. You'll see a calendar right there. There's all kinds of people on there. So sign up. If you work in video, if you do anything, we want to hear your story. We want to talk to you.
Yeah, we want to talk to you. And don't forget to check out runningrampant.biz.
I'll do her thing. That biz! So that's just, she does that all the time. It's runningrampant.biz. You can see all of our shows. We're on episode 11 now, so there's 10 other episodes where we're just jawing on forever, talking about who knows what. But apparently somebody watches the show because we got a phone call, so I honestly thought it was just the cats, and they keep thumbs downing it. They're hardcore. So anyway, runningrampant.biz, you can also see our show on YouTube and on Vimeo. You can hear it on iTunes and on SoundCloud and on Stitcher. Good gracious, there's a lot of ways to see this thing and hear this thing. And Rampant Live, you can watch all the old episodes. They're also on podcast form on iTunes and Stitcher as well, right? Yep. So if you don't want to hear or see it, you can hear it. But I really encourage you to watch Rampant Live, whether it's live or not, because we capture the entire feed. It's not just the screen, so you can see all the questions people are asking and talking about. You get to see the whole interactivity. You should watch at least one episode so that way you'll actually go in and be really into doing it, because it's really truly like a live talk show, and you are just as much a part of it as we are.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun show.
So fun.
Check that out. And that's all.
That's all, everybody. No questions. Please send your questions and comments. No questions this week, so that's a frowny face. But stay positive.
Yay!
All right, that worked out well. That was not scripted, so I was wondering, anyway, so remember, you absolutely can do it. If you suffer from anxiety, there are millions of people out there who are doing it as well and maybe not talking about it. If you have a true problem and you don't have anyone to talk to, send me a message. I will absolutely talk to you about it. I suffer with it every single day, so there's no reason that you have to do it alone. I'm here for you. I love each and every one of you, as does Stephanie. We love you all. Thank you for all of your love and support for Rampant in general and for all the just the great emails that we get.
Yes,
and for those of you who think that I need to be subservient or no longer subservient or whatever, I love you too. I'll give you a big hug. I might hug you a little tighter than I'd hug everybody else, but I'll hug you nonetheless. Anyway, that's it for Rampant. We love you all. Thanks for watching. RunningRampant.biz. And don't forget to run rampant, y'all.
Yay! Bye!
Good down there?
I can't move my head, so you'll have to see.
Good down there. Why can't you move your head?
Because I'm perfect.
Just hands. This is just hands.